More large companies are using social media to promote their brand online. Large companies and entrepreneurs are increasingly adopting the same social media tools that have been used extensively for years by smaller businesses and startups. Also, businesses are more focused on web priorities such as social media and mobile optimized websites.
From a business standpoint, I would say I would really utilize Facebook a lot more than any other social network. One, because I feel like that social network is basically connected with the most people out of all social networks right now.
Victor Askew is a striving rapper and local resident of Norwalk, Connecticut. He self-managed his work and is mostly promoted through social networks such as Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. He and his music group Greenlight have done a lot of promotion through these social networks and has even sold an album on iTunes. Although he has had some success, he does not get the same recognition as most striving artists coming from the tri-state area.
To really remain relevant in a changing environment all the time, I believe you just have to stay consistent and dedicated in what you do, no matter what your brand is. Um, like for example, like Nike or the Jordan brand. I feel like the reason why they're so successful is because they were able to market themselves to a target audience, and they have been consistent with everything that they do. Like as far as their clothing, their commercials, like you never to current day you never say, oh, whatever happened to Nike. You know what I mean? Like they're still around just as strong as they were in the '90s, and it's 2013. Just holding a strong position and being consistent, I feel like is the most effective thing.
Well, there's really not one best social network. It all depends on what the organization is or what the consumer is looking for.
Lori Bendig is a graduate school professor at Sacred Heart University in the Mass Communications program. The course that she teaches stresses the ethical practices of media platforms and awareness of the industry.
I would say it has to be a continuous effort. You can't just start a social media campaign and then drop it. You need to have that constant monitoring of what people are saying and how they're interacting with you, as well as providing content to them. Because otherwise they're going to leave. If you don't post for a really long time, people are going to forget about you. They're not going to follow you. So you want to really pique that interest and set up what I call an editorial calendar that says when you're going to post, what you're going to post, and make sure that you're always giving your customer and the various people that you want to reach new content, reasons to come and look for you and read your posts and interact with you. Otherwise, you just sort of feel used. You feel like it's just an advertising vehicle. And people don't like that. That's one of the draws of social media, that people feel that it's customized and it's giving something to them, not that you're being bombarded with product placement.
Lori wants these students to gain media literacy so they can properly use these platforms. She gives them knowledge of which networks to use in different situations.
Certain social networks have niche communities on them. So, for example, believe it or not, nobody talks about MySpace anymore, but MySpace is still a great platform for new music. So if you're in the music industry, you still want to be on MySpace, even though everybody laughs about it now. And for personal uses, people are on Facebook, and for some business purposes too. But it really depends what your business is and what platform you should be on. But it's really important to target some over others. And again, the newer the platform, the more likely that it's going to skew younger, although not always. But then let's say you're on the wedding planning, in the wedding planning business, you want to make sure you're on Pinterest, because that's where everybody is pulling ideas and creating boards and planning their weddings before they're even engaged.
And having a target market is probably something that is smarter to do while trying to run a business. Me, with the music that I make and the music I produce, I probably would range anywhere in between 15 to mid 30s, I would say, because a lot of the music that I do make is actually inspired from a lot of older times in music. A lot of like 80s, a lot of early 70s was incorporated into the new music that I make now. So, but it has a new school vibe to it. So it's kind of a broad target market, but again, it's still pretty specific as well.
Businesses need to pay attention to trends. So you know, when Facebook came out, they really needed to wait and see, is this going to last? Because, you know, Friendster, MySpace aren't really that popular anymore. But there are platforms that do emerge that become wildly popular right away. And it's important for businesses to continue to explore new platforms while not ignoring their existing platforms. So just like we're talking about social media right now, they have to make sure that they're still doing traditional advertising, traditional press releases, as well as interacting with people on social networks. And that it builds and builds and builds. And as time goes by, you can see what social networks fall off the radar.
Initially, just by thinking about it, I thought it would be the best move. But it didn't take long for me to see results. I mean, just having a solid team, like a solid foundation when you're actually starting a business and trying to promote one thing, is like really key. And with Facebook, it was me and a team of the people that I make music with. We basically started promoting on Facebook, had our group page, and started promoting ourselves to get likes, to get more people to see what our music is about and have it on their timeline on Facebook. It didn't take that long. I'd say right now we're at about like 300 likes, which isn't a lot, but like I promote on Facebook, I promote it on Twitter, and Twitter is really a social network that allows a lot of the younger. Twitter is really what we promote for the younger crowd, and Facebook is really for the whole target market.
More businesses and entrepreneurs are turning more to the mobile platforms and the advertising and the promotion formats that ride on them. These networks were meant to bring people together, but now are mostly used for business initiatives.